Corsair has acknowledged that the market for Mini-ITX cases has grown and have released their second small form factor case. Hello everyone, I'm Lavins from Hexagon PC and this is the Corsair Graphite 380T Mini-ITX Case. The 380T shares its naming convention and exterior design with the upcoming full tower case, the Graphite 780T. Corsair has teamed up with BMW Designworks to design and develop both cases, and it definitely shows. The 380T is a modified version of the Obsidian 250D, but carrying only a few features. Everything else is new and I'll be going over those parts. Starting with the front, there is a large front air intake with a dust filter that is completely removable and held on by a push-lock latch system. The filter is 8.5 inches wide and 9.5 inches tall. The front comes with a standard 140mm fan, but has mounting options for a single 240mm or two 120mm fans. There are also 4 holes for fan cables so you can pass them through the case and power them up. Heading up to the top of the case, the front panel has a much nicer touch than I've seen in their previous cases. Corsair used design elements from BMW, and that's why you see a large start-stop button that you typically see in vehicles. I like it a lot and it's something Corsair should keep. There are 2 USB 3.0 slots as well as front panel audio jacks. On the right is your reset button and on the left is a built-in 3-speed fan controller. It also features a large handle for transporting the case. Very handy for LAN events or just taking it over to your friend's house. At the rear of the case, there is a mount for a single 120mm fan, the motherboard I/O cutout, and 2 PCI brackets. The PCI slot locking mechanism is secured by a plate and screw system. Simply remove the screw and lift the plate to install your graphics card. At the bottom is the PSU mounting plate, which is held together by 4 screws, as opposed to the 2 screws from the 250D. And there is also a PSU dust filter at the bottom which molds perfectly with the surrounding bezel. It's quite easy to remove and reinstall. The side panels are standalone, much like the dust filter. It appears as if it's 2 different panels, but it's actually just one. Lift this handle and pull it away from the case. As you can see, it's mostly acrylic with the rest formed into support brackets with adequate spacing to allow for airflow. A metal grate is then placed on top of that to catch dust and everything else. On this side, there are 2 metal rails that hold a pair of 120mm fans or a 240mm radiator. There are a multitude of tie-down points, but there are 3 readily accessible just on this side. There's also enough space here to place your cables, but I kind of wish that the SSD drives were placed here for optimal cable management. You could still rest a hard drive here if you wanted to. On this side, you have better access to the interior and can see the stock rear 120mm fan, as well as the switch here. What's this switch do exactly? Well, there's a white LED under the handlebar and it lights up the interior. It can be used as a work light for times when you need to switch something out. White lighting is best for showing off your color scheme as well. Moving on to the lower portion of this side, we can see Corsair's budget SSD enclosure. I've seen this used in the Corsair 230T and all of their spec line, and even includes holes for securing your drives. It's not anything fancy, but it definitely works. In front of the PSU, we have a single hard drive bay with 2 sleds that are flexible and toolless for easy drive swapping. If you aren't going to be using any of the 3.5-inch drives, the entire bay is removable and you can gain a significant amount of room for your cables for additional cable management tie-down points, just like in the 250D. Corsair did their research by reaching out to the community and finding out that typical ITX builds only use 2 SSDs and 2 hard drives. Well done! However, unlike the 250D, you can't use just any PSU in here. Anything over 180mm in length will run into a tab that secures the hard drive cages in place. Well, it's not like you need to be using like 1200 watts in here or anything, so it's not really much to worry about. As for the cables that are included with the case, you get a USB 3.0, HD audio, power reset and LED switch, and finally a male SATA cable to power your fan controller and the LED. There are 3 4-pin PWM fan cables for use with your front, side, and rear fans. There are also cable tie mounts on top of the case to effectively route the fan controller cable to your rear fan. For cable management guys like me, this is awesome. The midplate has 6 tie-down points for managing all of your cables. I can't stress enough how important cable management is. Not only is it aesthetically pleasing, but it also promotes airflow throughout your case. I only wish I could remove the mid plate from the factory, but there's a reason that you can't. The midplate is riveted onto the chassis and provides additional rigidity to pass rigorous drop testing. I mean, it's built like a tank. You can also install an air cooler in here, so long as it doesn't go over 150mm or 6 inches. So let's get into video card compatibilities. Unlike the Air 240, this chassis actually supports tall cards. Being considerably taller than the 250D, it will be able to handle an EVGA 780 Ti classified, which is 5.9 inches tall. If you do end up installing this video card, be careful not to spin the screw all the way down, as it will hit the cooler and puncture your fins. Oh, and if you're planning on installing a 240mm radiator in this case, you need to pick a motherboard that doesn't have ports right under the fans, and I'll show you why. The fan closest to the rear of the board will end up right on top of any ports, so you'll be unable to plug in any of your cables. This includes the 24-pin, EPS, or SATA ports. So you're going to need to plan out which motherboard to get that doesn't have ports in those areas. The 380T will come in 3 colors at first. The black version will sell for $130, while the white and yellow will sell for $140. And it's even possible that we'll see other colors at a later date. Well guys, this is it for my Corsair 380T overview. I love this case for what it is, and even though it's not as small, it's still a case to be appreciated. I'll be creating a second video showing the possible cable management configurations as well as my final build. Give this video a like and leave a comment on what you thought of this case. Please don't forget to subscribe for more case reviews, cable management guides, and build logs. I'll be pushing out more content on a weekly basis, so don't forget to tune in. See you guys later!